Hello, welcome everyone. So I believe that we are surrounded by products, right? So it's AgileByExample conference. We are talking a lot about value, creating product, but let's be honest, we are also users of those products. I dare to say that today you have brought plenty of different products with you, maybe in your bag, in your backpack. Have you ever considered how you are making those choices, whether to take this product, not the other one? Let's start with a simple quiz. Can you guess what is the percentage of purchasing decisions that are done on subconscious level? Any guesses? 70. 95. Oh, someone is very well prepared. I'm happy to hear that you are aware this is the case, and according to Harvard professor Gerald Zaltman, is 95% on the subconscious level. So, hello, welcome to product development world. We are not as tech-savvy as we think we are. And it applies to your users and customers too. Okay, so this is the first observation. Second one. Does anyone know what is that creature? It's a lobster, yes, and we are not going to talk about friends. We are going to talk about what kind of lesson is this creature bringing to us. So, from nutrition point of view, it's a source of protein, right? Some people can eat it, have a nice dinner, lunch. I would love you to stop for a second and think about what kind of dinner, lunch you can have when you decide to eat lobster. Can you imagine that place? Can you think about the best possible place to have lobster? Do you have that picture? You do? Close enough? And I have a little surprise for you. So years back, if you decided to invite someone for a dinner with lobster, they would feel deeply offended. Why? Because that was the place when the lobsters were served. So years back, lobster was perceived as a sea rat or sea cockroach. Even in early American days, there were some regulations to not feed people who are institutionalized with lobster too often because it's cruel. We don't feed people with rats, right? It's unethical. And guess what? We are eating lobsters right now. We don't feel bad about it, at least some of us. So what happened with lobster? The perception of the value has changed. And with that presentation, I would love together with you to try to uncover what might be the most important factor, or maybe a group of factors, that we should take into account when thinking about perception of value. So, neuroscience, behind that, we need a brain, right? First observation is, unfortunately, as humankind, we are learning and learning and learning about the brain. Some of the experts from medicine or psychology claim that maybe we know 10%, maybe 20%. Some of them say 5% of the knowledge that we should possess is what we currently have. But let's take a look at what we know and let's together think how it can affect this perceived value. So, in our brain, we have team, and there are a lot of members in that team. Let's try to meet today 4 of them. Prefrontal cortex, so as you can imagine, prefrontal, somewhere here. So this is our wise friend. And yes, if you tell me, but come on, Joanna, we are using our brain to make conscious decision. We have this wise friend. It's responsible not only for decision making, how we choose products, but is also helping us in emotions regulations, help us remember things. And at the same time, this wise friend is collaborating very closely with others. So for instance, with amygdala. Amygdala might be perceived as some kind of guardian and is extremely important when we face a situation that is perceived as a danger. It will send signal, hey, we are in danger, we have to act. Again, emotions are here an important aspect. Who else belongs to our team? Well, we have also a librarian. So we may say that in our brain, what we experience, what we learn, is translated into our own library. So it does matter what kind of experience we had in the past, because it will be stored in this library and used later in the decision-making process. Last member of our team, but I would encourage you to read about it deeper, I call them cheerleader. So nucleus accumbens, this is this part related to rewards. So interesting thing about our brain, it will encourage us to repeat those behaviors that previously led to happiness, satisfaction, pleasure. So it might be great if we are happy because we had a nice run, we are taking care of our body. This amazing product is helping us feel better, but also be careful. So this is also an invitation for addictions. Based on that, what we can say, how all those elements might potentially affect perception of value. Well, if you thought that your customers are your users are here for you and you want to win their hearts and brain, I dare to say that actually you want to get a positive signal, the answer, yes, yes, we want this product, from the team that is inside our users, our customers. And this team is interested a lot in experience, gaining experience, connecting to previous experience, emotions, and feelings. Once again, 95% of decisions are made subconsciously. So, if you ever face the situation when team members are saying, no, we don't want to talk about emotions, I'm really sorry. Seems it's an important topic. Even if you don't want to talk about your emotions, which is absolutely fine, seems like this topic might help you a lot to deliver great products. What are the practical lessons for us? So the first one, when it comes to value, I know we are using different techniques. By the way, do we have any product owners, product managers in the room? We do? Some people, yeah? So I guess that you are using different frameworks, maybe RICE method, maybe you are comparing potential value versus cost. I would love to encourage you to try to think also deeper. There will be an implicit association with the value. It's more difficult, but seems it's worth including that when you try to manage product backlog. What else do we know? Featureosis. Have you ever had the problem? More features. Hey team, more, quicker. Yes, we can do it, yes. So we already know, based on different reports, that a lot of features are simply not used, right? So usage reports related to feature usage. But here, with the neuroscience, I will repeat this mantra. Please, please, please don't sell features, sell the experience. Next point is, As experience is so important, let's make this experience amazing. How to use that? Another tip, we have different sensors, right? Our body is an interesting thing. We can see, we can hear, we can smell. To create experience that will land in our memory, it will stay, it will create a deep connection with your product. Try to use multi-sensory marketing. Another idea, storytelling. Have you ever used storytelling? Anyone? Yeah, we do. We know. Very powerful technique. So my piece of advice is, don't be afraid to include emotions. It can help. Last but not least, and I recall conversations whether we should have more surveys, less surveys, how to conduct user research. There is a way how to expand maybe some kind of tools that you already have, how to uncover what will be valuable for your users. Deep research to understand emotions, subconscious thoughts. This may be slightly different to what you used to do, but seems it's a pretty interesting way to see your product, your service, the future of it through different perspective. So, I've heard that we are at the conference called AgileByExample, if I'm not mistaken. So we need example, right? And there is a very good one. So there is a ZMath method created by already mentioned Professor Gerald Zaltman, and how we can use that. So maybe I should start with explaining the idea, right? So Professor Zaltman, when he was abroad, he asked people from Nepal, could you please make photos for me? And when he was looking back at those photos, he realized feet was not visible. It was either cut from the picture or it was hidden somehow. This led and conversations that happened later to realization that lack of shoes or shoes that were used, not so good looking, it was a sign of poverty. So Professor Zaltman decided, hey, maybe it's a new way how to better understand customers. So let's try to practice a little bit. You see two pictures here. Can you guess what kind of product are we talking about when we are presenting those pictures? Softener, fabric softener. Oh, I love that. First lesson from that method. We love pictures. Those pictures were chosen by users on purpose. It was their choice, and they wanted to tell us something important. But picture is worth 1,000 words. Having a good conversation without any bias, so we just listen and ask questions, might be even more interesting. So what about now? Is it still fabric softener or maybe something else? I don't know. We can figure it out later. So there's a skin involved, right? Silky, smooth, soft. Those two pictures were chosen during the research related to Dove. Can you now spot what is happening in that method? So pictures chosen by users and their stories then later connected in some kind of collage, comparisons, they are creating the whole picture story related to the product. And why it is so powerful? Because when I was thinking about it deeper, it's an amazing product discovery approach. Why? Because if we take a look at that, and by the way, it requires a lot of work, we can understand current perceived value. So maybe your users will not tell you like, yes, no, we have those surveys, like, do you like this? Would you buy it? how it is likely you would recommend? Here they tell the story. And we have to pay a lot of attention, a lot of effort to have this deep understanding. But if we achieve that, there is a chance that a completely new perception of current value will pop up. Second point, if you understand that, guess what? It's a path to potentially change perception of the value of your product. And going deeper, it's also a great way to uncover opportunities, maybe for new product, maybe for new market, new prospects. So, we started with lobster. I would love to finish this conversation with lobster. So, from like a food or meal point of view, it's still the same protein. But what has changed over years? The perception of value of it. And I dare to say that maybe you already have a lobster on your plate. I'm not sure if it's more closer to sea rat or closer to very sophisticated meal. And I feel like it does not matter so much whether you see here a duck or a rabbit. What truly matters is how this perception of your product is currently being created in the minds of your users. So I'm inviting you to try to give it a try and find better ways how to manage your product. Thank you very much, and I'm looking at Tomek because I expect some questions.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I got one question. Thank you. I have one question myself before I get to your question. If I get it correctly, I need a confirmation. The next time I buy myself a toy, I don't need any explanation to my wife because most of my decisions are made unconsciously, right?
Yes, I would say definitely your brain team have worked super hard to see a value.
You heard that, guys.
I'm sorry, Justina. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. The most important part of this conference is over for me. Thank you very much. So, how much time we have left because we lost the timer? Okay, we go with one
2
question
minutes,
anyway.
I guess.
We go with one question anyway, which is how do you define or measure value for an implicit value? A lot of stakeholders want numbers.
Yeah.
So how you convince them?
I get that. So generally, I would combine different metrics in that case. I would, on one hand, use those metrics that I guess you have in mind, but at the same time, it might be use this implicit value as willingness to pay, right? So it's about potential market share that can be increased. It's about how they are likely to buy things. I also heard from one of the product experts in the end, what truly matters is whether they are using that product. So if they are using and they are having positive associations with that, maybe this combined will be helpful.
Once again, thank you.
Thank you.